First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer. How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gann, host of Tier Talk. So I thought we could also, once in a while, share some experiences about the job. So of course, the moment I mentioned that idea, Russ Hamilton's quick to jump on with a video. He's going to share 2 experiences that he's had in the yard, as well as a story from an author of a book called Into Harm's Way. That's Dick Nelson. And they're going to talk about the time that Johnny Cash came to Folsom, did his concert. Some pretty good stories here. So guys, when we come back from our sponsors, we're going to share some experiences from the job. And hopefully we can do more of this, because they're interesting, they're entertaining, but there's a lot to learn. All right, guys, now if you haven't, the show Tier Talks for you brave men and women at work in corrections. So please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. We'll go to our sponsor. When we come back, I'll give the show over to Russ Hamilton.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Hey there, keepers of chaos and Tier Talk fans. Russ Hamilton here. So anyway, first things first, quick shout out to Anthony Ganji. Anthony Ganji over on Tier Talk. He's just about to hit that milestone of 10,000 subscribers. It's imminent now, within the next day or two, 3 at the outside. He's going to hit that. For those of you that don't know, Anthony is a pioneer. Anthony is a trailblazer. Anthony has been very involved in putting the light on corrections and showcasing to the public what we do as corrections professionals. I can't say enough about that. I mean, he's really the first one to really do that, especially on a national and international level. So anyway, congrats, Anthony. And I'm very proud of you, and I'm very happy to be affiliated with you and with Tier Talk. So having said that, this particular video, it's a little bit of a hodgepodge. I give my congrats to Anthony, and then I'm going to tell you real quick, this book, this one right here, I don't know if it's right in the lens or not, Into Harm's Way by Richard Nelson, aka Dick Nelson, right? If you guys saw my interview with him on Black August, you'll kind of know what this book's about. And yeah, this book is very much about Black August, but it's also really a look into the man. I read this book, and I got to tell you, it made me proud all over again to be a correctional officer, to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. I'm not going to review this book right now. Me and Anthony are going to do that at some future close date, but get this book, read it. You're going to love it. I can't even believe how much I loved it. I knew I was going to like it because of the subject matter, but get this book and read it. I mean, it'll make you proud. It's tragic at the same time. But you know, it's really a testament to everybody in corrections. And Dick Nelson did a fantastic job on it. So, anyway, the thing that's going to happen right after me talking about the book there is, got a couple of little stories that I'm going to, share with you, stuff that happened in my past in corrections. And they're just kind of some, you know, interesting side notes, but I get a lot of mail and stuff from people who maybe aren't necessarily in the profession that want to know, like, you know, well, what's some of the stuff you've seen? What are some of the things that have happened to you? So just 2 quick little stories. And then, to follow that up, a little bit of history with, the same guy that wrote the book, Dick Nelson. It was some footage that I thought I'd lost, but I kind of like, you know, had some bad camera handling that I did at the time because I really hadn't done that much interviewing before. But nevertheless, it's a piece of history because he tells the story about being at Folsom State Prison when the man in black, Johnny Cash, gave his first performance there. So just a kind of hodgepodge, little cornucopia of a few quick little interesting things. Hope you guys like this video. We can discuss it down below. Anyway, everyone, take care, stay safe, watch the rest of this. Now, to get things started, I'm going to tell sort of a 2-in-1 story. And this thing was really interesting to me because I didn't have anything quite like it ever happen since. But the first part of the story is just to give you an inkling as to the kind of wild, crazy yard that I used to supervise in my afternoons. So anyway, this particular yard is just kind of a dog leg like that. It's called the West Block Yard. And anyway, one particular day, they gave me someone brand new from the academy to take out there with me and show them the ropes. So while I was out there, this particular individual, he was meandering about probably like 10 or 15 feet away from me. And I started to have those little hairs go up on the back of my neck. And I could see that something was starting to take place, but I wasn't sure what. And so I was like, kind of like trying to get his attention without saying anything much. And then right then, boom, I hear like 3 or 4 guys off to the side say, "Hamilton," all at once. And I turned, and there's just a big crowd of people there. I can't tell what's going on. And I look back, and everyone in front of me is scattered. And there's one dude, like about 10 or 12 feet out from me, and he's just standing there just looking at me. And I'm just like looking at him. What the heck is going on? And then all of a sudden, I see his face start to open up, and then this start to open up, and then his chest start to open, and he's bleeding through into his t-shirt, and someone had got my attention over here. That really can't be helped, right? I mean, someone calls your name, you're going to look, and boom, and they hit him right there in front of me, and they zip-lined him all the way up across his neck, all the way up his face. And it was funny because it took several seconds, maybe 20 or 30 seconds for it to start opening up. And he was just bleeding out right there in front of me. That was the kind of yard that I was on every day. So I'm going to fast forward then to, I don't know how much longer this took place there, but anyway, I was out there on this same yard. And I mean, literally almost in the same place, I had this little fight break out, and it was like 3 or 4 on 1. And so anyway, they were tagging this guy pretty good. And so I sounded the alarm, and people started getting down. I started motioning people get out of my way, drew my baton to start wading in there because they're still going on them. But then they finally laid down. They started complying, and we went in there and cuffed everybody up. And I found a broken up shank down there, so I took that into evidence and everything, and then I picked the victim, the part that was the one being attacked, as opposed to these 3 or 4 other guys getting him, and I escorted him onto the clinic. And so anyway, we took him into the clinic, and he had some bumps and bruises and scratches, a little bloody spot on his chin and stuff, and got him all sorted and ready to go to SEG, and someone came and picked him up, and then I did my report, and I really didn't think anything more of it. So the next day, for whatever reason, I'm working in SEG. And so I'm, passing out some things and whatnot. And I come across this guy. I go, "Oh, hey, you're the guy from yesterday." And he's like, Hamilton, what are you doing?" He's like, "I can't move my neck. I can't move." I said, "What do you mean you can't move your neck?" "I can't move my neck." So I'm like, "Okay, dude." So called down to my sergeant, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'll send someone up to relieve you. You just take him on over to medical." So I pop him out of the cell and march him on over to medical, and we're over there for a few minutes, and they take an x-ray of this dude, right? So this dude has a piece of metal in his neck about that long, and it had done bounced off of his chin and gone inside and broken off, and the tip of it was resting up against the first vertebrae where it fuses into the skull bone there. So anyway, I was just happy as heck to have a reason to be going and doing something. So I got my transport car and a partner and stuff, and we took him on out to the hospital, and they did all the prep there and stuff, and I got to walk right into the surgery and watch the whole thing. And it was really interesting because they had to cut him all the way up here and all the way down like this, and then they had to take retractors and pull all that back, and then they still couldn't find it. So they had to take these hemostats and clip them down in there. and then bring this x-ray machine so that they could see where this thing was in relation to those hemostats, because it was rusty as fuck. So anyway, they pulled it out of there and they put it in a little dish and they, decontaminated it and everything, and then pulled it out and put it in my little evidence envelope. And that's basically the end of that story. But it was just interesting, I was in a lot of surgeries over the years, but only one where they took out a great big old piece of the end of that shank, and it matched up perfectly with the broken one that I found. So anyway, that's my story.
There's a lot of historical things that I've talked about with Dick on some other stories that we've done today. But one of those things that just really lives down through the ages is a very famous thing that happened at Folsom State Prison, and it was a musical concert put on by a guy named Johnny Cash. Well, how many people do you know that were actually there? Well, I know one right here, and so Dick's just going to relate that to you a little bit. So yes. Tell us about the Johnny Cash, and we've all seen it. We've all seen it in the movie. I think Walk the Line and stuff like that. So just relate to us a little bit about the big Johnny Cash saga.
Right. I was the yard sergeant. He had 2 concerts at Folsom. I had transferred out by the time the second concert came around, but I was there. I was the yard sergeant on his first concert at Folsom, and it was out on the yard, probably 1963, 64. I transferred out in 1966. So probably 1964 was his first concert when he made his first recording of Folsom Prison Blues. The population of Folsom was about 3,600 in those days, and all the gun towers surrounding the yard at Folsom were all double manned for this concert. The stage for the concert was up against the prison canteen, and the inmates were assembled out on a grassy lawn area, which was the outfield of the baseball diamond. And as yard sergeant, I was stationed between the stage and the inmates on the yard. There were about 3,000 of them out there. And during the course of the concert, I was just walk back and forth between the inmates and Johnny Cash, and he did his sound recording of the Folsom Prison Blues right there. There's a photograph floating around of that one officer between the inmates. It's taken from a gun tower. Between the inmates and Johnny Cash, and that's me in uniform. Hardly identifiable because of the scope and of the picture. But later on, someone mentioned that, weren't you afraid all those convicts there and Johnny Cash behind you? And I told them no, because I had the convicts outnumbered.
Very good.
And it was a good experience. They were the prisoners were gentlemanly. They were very, very good. Not a snippet of a problem there. They appreciated the concert. They loved Johnny Cash, obviously, and he got in that concert is when he got one of the convicts up and sang his song, recorded this song, Greystone Chapel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When I don't remember the inmate's name, the prisoner's name that wrote the song, but Johnny Cash recorded it right there at that concert.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's probably no more iconic a concert given than what Johnny Cash did there that day.
Right. The city of Folsom has named the trail from Folsom Dam down to the city Folsom Civic Center, the Johnny Cash Trail.
Oh,
There's a bike trail that runs along. Can't think of the name of the street right now, but the street that goes out to the prison.
Right.
There's a bike trail right parallel to that now called the Johnny Cash Trail.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Well, that'll be a good little extra tidbit there that we get for it.